I guess one of the scariest things has been knowing my children will experience pain, like willingly letting them go into a situation that is going to be hard for them. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Joelle and I am a mum to 5, happily married to David, and I love to film all things mum life, and I have actually a channel update coming up very soon, and I'm going to express my heart for this channel and a few little changes that might be coming, but so stay tuned for that. But on this particular video, I really want to talk about homeschooling to school. I thought about calling this like diaries of the homeschool to school. That doesn't even make sense, but you know what I'm trying to say. When David and I were coming to this decision of sending our children to mainstream school, I YouTubed and I Googled to see what was out there, to see if I could get some help, and there's not a lot out there. There's not a lot that talks about that transition and what it's like, you know, going from homeschooled your whole life into school. And it's been a really big change. It's not been a small thing, and I understand for people who have not been part of the homeschool world that maybe it doesn't seem like it would be a big change, but it truly has been. It has been life altering for my boys, for our whole family, because it's affected all of us. And so I'm just hoping that this video could maybe help somebody else if you are in a similar situation as I was and still am in having to send your children to school after homeschooling them for so long. Okay, so I won't give you too much information on the backstory of all of this because I filmed a video on that already, which I will link for you. I'll try to do it here. I'll try to do that trick where you can link the video. If you'd like to hear a story as to why we chose to send our 2 oldest boys to mainstream school, and potentially all of our children, we'll see how that goes. But yes, we did. 5 weeks ago, we made the leap, and it is a leap, from homeschooling to mainstream school. And so my 2 oldest boys, my oldest is 12 and he's in grade 6, and my second oldest is 10 and he is in grade 4. And not only are they going to school for the first time, but they transitioned into school halfway through the year. So it has been a wild ride, put it that way. But I just want to say that I truly believe God has heard our prayers and he has helped us. It has not been completely easy. There have been some very difficult moments, and there could still be more difficult moments to come, but there has been a grace. There has been a grace on my boys and on my family. So as a Christian homeschool family, we obviously could not go into this decision without a lot of prayer, and it was a long time in the making, and that's partially the reason why they were sent halfway through the year, because we were considering this from the beginning of the year. In some ways, I think it would have been better for them to have started at the beginning of the year, but then in other ways, it's also been in a way good that they started halfway through the year, because I think they've been given even a little bit more grace by the teachers. Starting at the middle of the year, it's like new students coming in. Any new student from any school that would come into school halfway through the year is given some special consideration, so let alone kids who have never gone to school. So the teachers there in the school have honestly been wonderful. I can't complain. I'm only very grateful, and I have let them know how grateful I am. But in saying that, it is massive. So homeschooling and going to school are literally 2 separate universes. Like, they are 2 separate philosophies, both good. But the homeschooling was the one that we landed in and we loved and we were part of for so very long. My homeschool philosophy, and if you are a homeschooler, you'll know all about this. You sort of choose your homeschool philosophy. Every homeschooler is different. But for me as a homeschool mum and to my children, my philosophy was that children learn in their own time. Children learn at their own pace. By the time my children are 16, 17, they will know everything they need to know in order to be able to go to the next, stage of life. And I was never worried about it. And we had a really no rush sort of approach. Obviously I shared in my other video where I talked about this, I did start to panic with my older boys a little bit, in that they wanted to know more and I wasn't able to give them more, if that makes sense. So that was one of the reasons that led us to sending them to school. But children, they are sponges and they learn, and not every child learns in the same way. I think everybody knows that you know, not everybody is a square, not everybody is a circle. I think it's Albert Einstein, and this was one of my favorite quotes that I would, you know, go to as a homeschool mum is, you know, if you forcing a fish to climb a tree, they're always going to feel like a failure, but you put that fish in the ocean and they're going to thrive. And so it was like with homeschooling, what best suits my children's needs, what best suits us as a family. And we had some wonderful times of learning, a lot of hands-on learning, a lot of life learning, and yeah, we absolutely loved it. But then you switch over to school, and although school does have, you know, personalized learning plans and the teachers do a fantastic job, it is different. There is a standard that most children are expected to be at a certain grade, at a certain age, and we've come here with our free-flowing philosophy family and we've plugged them in to mainstream school. And so what's happened is that in some areas my children are thriving and are ahead, and then in other areas they've never even learned this concept. Like we haven't even gotten to that yet, and the kids around them are, you know, flying through it because they've been there from day dot. They've been part of that process. And so that has been quite overwhelming for my boys. And as I said, I'm going to be very honest and let you know, because maybe like me, you were looking for advice. It has not always been easy. And it's only been 5 weeks. But in saying that, yeah, the teachers are very kind. So I want to let me talk about my eldest son. So his teacher is just the most lovely woman, and actually the day before he started, she sent us an email and she let us know that she's praying for Joseph, that she was excited to have him come be part of the class. Like, I literally could not have prayed for a better teacher for my son. And the class itself, it's a big year 6 class, but it's been split into 2, so it's not too overwhelming. The kids there, I mean, no school is perfect, but the kids genuinely seem to be really kind and understanding and mature, which is great. And they've been very understanding to Joseph and to his situation. And so, but for example, we did not do any laptop work. Okay, we did no laptop work. We did book work. We did tablets. We used our tablets a lot for different math programs and things like that. But I did not have my boys on laptops. They were on tablets or they were doing bookwork, etc. Right? We've come into this school and every student is on a laptop from grade 3. Like, they are learning how to use their laptop and they're typing their reports, and you know, from grade 3. And so my son has come into grade 6 and the kids are all pros on their computers, and Joseph is like, oh my goodness, how do I type? We didn't learn that yet. That was something we didn't need to learn yet, and so we hadn't learnt it. He would have learnt it, obviously, but not in the time frame that his peers were learning it at school. And so that's been a big shock for him, but he's learning, he's picking it up. So he's doing a typing club, I think it's called, and he's learning to touch type, and it's a challenge, but he's rising to the challenge and he's doing well. So his teacher, Lord bless her, is a wonderful lady, has been like, you know, they're given a set amount of homework every week, but for Joseph, she's like, you know, it's okay if he doesn't do all the homework, and he's replacing that with typing, because that's the priority right now. Get him up to speed, get him up to date using his computer, and he's doing well. So those are the sorts of challenges. My other son, Isaac, is in grade 4. It does seem to be a little bit of a different grade, obviously, from year 6. And he comes home and tells me, like, Mummy, the boys were doing this today, or the boys were saying this behind the teacher's back. And so I think he's being exposed a bit more to some behaviors that's new to him. And I just always encourage him, Isaac, you always be a good boy, okay? Don't feel the pressure to go and join that particular group. You can be nice to everybody, but you stay respectful. And similar situation with the computer. And just, it's very, very different for Isaac, because Isaac was a really hands-on learner. Like, he was a complete practical learner, and so suddenly he's being put in the deep end with book work and everything else. But their teachers are just amazing, and there are some children that get some extra support, and he is getting extra support at the moment, and the support teacher is beautiful, and so he's not afraid, if that makes sense. It's daunting. The task ahead of him is very daunting, but he doesn't feel afraid because the teachers there are very supportive, and the kids for the most part are pretty nice as well. He's making friends. He's excelling very much in sport, which I knew he would. I was like, Isaac, just wait for PE, wait for the PE day. You're going to feel much more confident if you can get to the PE day. And so he has, and he's really been enjoying that. And yeah, so he's doing well. On his second day, this was a really big challenge. Oh, I felt so bad for him. Everybody felt so bad for him. So Isaac actually has 3 teachers. His year 4 teacher is like, they share it. I don't know how it works, but it's like their permanent role. One teacher teaches Monday, Tuesday, and then another teacher teaches Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then there's the support teacher that helps kids in the class that need some extra support. And so it was only day 2, and those 3 teachers are aware he's come from homeschooling. This is a big shock to him, and there's things he needs to be caught up on, obviously. But on day 2, none of the teachers were there. I don't know if they were all off sick or there was a conference. I don't know what it was, but there was literally like 6 relief teachers that came in, and none of them knew his situation. It wasn't clearly communicated. And I went to pick him up on day 2, and he looked so distraught, and I got him in the car, and he just burst into tears, and he was so discouraged, and he was like, that's it, I'm done, I'm not going anymore, we're going back to homeschooling. And honestly, my mother heart was like broken. It was shattered seeing my son like that, because I guess one of the scariest things has been knowing my children will experience pain, like willingly letting them go into a situation that is going to be hard for them, into a situation that's going to be challenging for them. That is hard. It's like, I am willingly letting my children get there, be shaped and molded, and it's painful. Like, that's a painful process. And so I am like, my mother instincts were like, scoop him up, call everybody, thanks for everything, but it's not going to work out, and that honestly, I was saying to Dave on day 3, so we sent him back on day 3, and I was a mess. I was in tears, I was crying, I didn't want to send him back, I didn't want him to have those problems. I sent a really long email to the school. I'm that mum, I'm a new homeschool mum, but I'm like in constant communication with the school, and I sent this long email saying, hey, like, just a heads up, he had the most horrible experience yesterday. He's scared to be there, all of this sort of stuff. Anyway, they were so kind, and they explained the situation, that his teachers were not there, and they really made sure to go out of their way to help him and to make him feel confident and comfortable, and Isaac, it's okay, there's no rush, you're doing well, and so they've been just nothing but encouraging. And that was about a month ago, and he is now looking forward to going to school every day. He's actually really enjoying it. So, but that was a bit of a hiccup. So it's definitely been hard. I still feel like, and I've told the teachers, I have told especially for Joseph's teacher, I'm like, Joseph, it's a big experience for a kid, and he's going to be inside his shell for quite a while. Like, I don't think anybody's really going to see his beautiful personality and all his giftings for a really long time. Like, it could take until the end of the year that he's finally feeling a little bit more confident and like himself. And so I'm like, please be patient, because it's going to take you a while to see my children's potential, but they have a lot of potential, and I'm absolutely confident. So, something that's been different is assignments. So Joseph has quite a few you, I am shocked. I am shocked at the level of assignments and work. I don't remember having this much when I was in grade 6, but maybe it's changed. I don't know. He's not enjoying it. He is, but it's like I need to be sure that he is aware of everything. And I love that it's all online. So there was a couple days last week my boys were sick. That's the other thing about starting a new school. Lots of new germs, lots of new people to be around. So Isaac has picked up 2 colds since starting school, and he gave it to the family. Thank you, Isaac. So they were off school for 2 days last week, and because all of his classwork is online, we were actually able to sit down. We didn't do everything, but English I feel like is the priority. We sat down and we did his English activity, we did his homework assignment, and we handed that in. But yeah, I am very much, and I've told the teachers that I will need to do this for a while, but I am very hands-on. I am very much helping them. He's still getting used to a computer, let alone, you know, Google Docs and sharing with the classroom and all of that. So I am very hands-on with him at the moment, but he's learning, he's picking it up. My boys are smart. Homeschool kids, let me tell you, they are smart. They might not know everything the same as a mainstream school kid, but they do know how to learn. They know how to learn, and they have a love for learning, and I am counting on that. I am counting on that to shine through. It's a little tricky at the moment because they're shell-shocked, and it's, you know, it's a big change, but I feel like they are the wind-back cars, you know. So if everybody else is here, and I'm not trying to compare in a bad way. The school kids are wonderful, but I'm trying to just, you know, encourage my kids, like, hey, it's all good, because they're not stupid. They can clearly see, oh, Mum, I don't know this. I feel really dumb at the moment because I haven't learnt this. And I'm like, you are not dumb. You just haven't learnt it, and you will learn it and you'll get it. And so I try to encourage them by being like, hey, you're like those wind-back cars. Maybe everybody else is over here right now and you feel like you're here, but that's because, you know, you've got all this potential and all this learning and all these years of input and dedication that God is going to help you just fly, and you will fly, you will take off, and you will do so well. So I would say we're still in that pullback motion phase. We're not in that flying free phase just yet, but it will happen, and it very likely won't happen until at least next year, because right now they're just getting used to the school run and packed lunches and you know, different classes throughout the day, not home learning, school learning, being around people all day. Like, all of this is so new for them, but they're doing well, and God is giving them a grace. And so I just want to encourage, if there's any mum or dads out there that you are in that valley of decision of, because this is what stopped me. What stopped me from sending them at the beginning of the year was I was just so worried about the discomfort that they would have to go through in order to be able to go to school. And it's true, there is discomfort. There's no getting around it. But kids are resilient, and I have covered them in prayer. I pray for them every day, and they have a grace. God is giving them a grace. It's not always easy, but there is a grace on them. And like, other than the 2 colds, to be honest, I haven't seen them so bright and just like alert. It's like everything is switched on at the moment. I think taking them out of the comfort of their own home and putting them out, it's like things have had to switch on that perhaps didn't have to switch on before. And, you know, we have sent them in the middle of winter, like it's towards the end of winter now, but 5 weeks ago they were going to school, and it was like, it was minus degrees. It was freezing. We have sent them in the hardest part of the year to possibly go to school, and they are thriving. Like, they're rosy cheeked, and they're bright eyes, and their brains are switched on, and they're conversating with us. And so I can already see the good fruit coming from this decision. They also look forward to going to school. They're not dreading it, which is really, because I was thinking, oh, if they're absolutely hating this, at the end of the day, our children are our priority, and I don't mean to sound rude by saying this, but I don't really care about the opinions of others when it comes to what's best for my children. And so Dave and I already made the commitment that if this does not work, if our kids are hating it, if they are just, you know, a shadow of who they used to be and their confidence is wiped out, well, then we won't do it. Like, okay, maybe we're too far gone in our homeschool journey. We'll pull them back out. But it's not actually been the case. They're doing very well and they are thriving, and we can see just the peace that's come upon them and the peace that God's given them. And so we truly feel like we are going in the right direction for them. And yeah, so that's basically where they're at. I know this is a long video, but there's a lot to share, and I hope to give you more updates as we continue. We have 2 more children on the waiting list for school. I don't know how I feel about it at this point, for a couple of reasons. Number one, and I'm going to share more about this in the next video, I'm going to be talking just a big life update and finances and things like that. My younger kids are much easier for me to homeschool. I'm still at the level where I can homeschool them. However, the season of life that we are in is so busy and so full on. And you know, their interest is up now that their brothers are going. And so it would be good for them to go. There is a chance that they will go next term. There's also a chance that they'll go next year. Part of me wants for them to go next term because I would love for them to have term 4, which in my opinion has always been the best term of school, to have that term to just get used to going to school. Again, no real expectations on their grades or anything like that, more just to get used to going to school. That would be amazing. However, feeling like I've got until next year just helps me feel a little bit less panicked, because now that I understand the school system a little bit better, it's going to be a big change for them as well. And I feel like, well, if I had, you know, all of term 4 and then the whole summer holidays to get them prepared, maybe they would be better prepared for it. So I'm not really sure how I feel about it at the moment, but and then financially it's like, oh man, like these school fees are a lot, you know, and so it's like maybe I should just homeschool them for a little bit longer, and I don't know. So we'll see. That's really in the Lord's hands, and it's something that we're praying through at the moment. I do feel like my inclination is that they should go, because this is a great school. It really is. If it wasn't this school, I don't think I could do it. But this is a really good school, and so, you know, and with being on the waiting list, we've paid for them to be on that waiting list, and if a position opens up and you don't go, then you have to reapply. And so it's one of those things, like I'm just praying that God will open up those positions at the right timing, in his timing, and yeah, we'll go from there. But if you are interested in the homeschool to school journey, then please make sure you are subscribed to this channel. And if you're not interested in homeschooling but you've still watched this, thank you. It means a lot to me. I have another video coming up very soon. As I said, I have so much to share with you, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for listening to me. God bless you, stay safe, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye.